Imagine for a moment the world you thought you knew, the glitz, the glamour, and the carefully curated images that fill your Instagram feeds and magazine covers. We see the Duchess of Sussex. Meghan Markle, as a woman of unshakable poise and royal elegance. But what if the polished surface of a fairy tale princess is actually a shield? What if the real story, the one whispered in the dimly lit corners of Hollywood, is far more explosive than any tabloid headline you've ever scrolled past? Enter Trevor Engelson, 4 years. Meghan's ex-husband was the man in the shadows, choosing a dignified silence while his former flame climbed the ranks of the British monarchy. But the silence has been broken. Insiders say Trevor isn't just whispering anymore. He's laying out a roadmap of Meghan's past that the palace would give anything to keep buried. We're talking about a side of the Duchess that involves more than just acting roles and networking. It involves a secret social life that could upend the very foundation of her public persona. Here is where the tea gets scorching hot. Rumors have long swirled, but Trevor's alleged accounts bring a specific, shocking detail to the light: a professional hockey team, not just a casual encounter with an athlete, but claims of intimate connections with multiple players on the same team. Picture the scene: a young, ambitious actress navigating the cutthroat world of Los Angeles. While the world saw an ingenue looking for her big break, those in the inner circle saw a master of social strategy. Observers from Meghan's Hollywood days describe her as magnetic. She didn't just enter a room, she owned it. At exclusive parties and high-stakes industry mixers, she allegedly moved through the crowd with a calculated grace. According to the whispers, these hockey players weren't just random flings. They were part of a pattern of influence. Was it a quest for connection? Or was it a young woman learning how to wield the power of her own charisma before stepping onto the world's most scrutinized stage? Imagine the dynamics within that team. In the hypermasculine, tight-knit world of professional sports, secrets are rarely kept forever. The web of interactions described by insiders suggests that Meghan's presence created a ripple effect: tension, curiosity, and unspoken rivalries among teammates. Every glance, every private meeting, and every shared secret contributed to a hidden narrative that would eventually follow her across the Atlantic. Now, contrast that gritty Hollywood hustle with the cold, rigid halls of Buckingham Palace. The dynamic is jarring. On one hand, you have the firm obsessed with tradition and protocol. On the other, you have a woman whose past is reportedly littered with the kind of high-octane drama that makes a soap opera look tame. The question isn't just about what happened back then. It's about how those survival instincts, honed in the shark tanks of LA, are being used now within the royal family. Why is this resurfacing now? The timing is suspicious. And the stakes couldn't be higher. As the Duke and Duchess of Sussex continue to build their brand on their truth, ghosts from the past like Trevor Engelson are emerging to offer a different version. It's a clash of narratives: the victim of the monarchy versus the Hollywood strategist. But the story doesn't stop at a single party or a few scattered names. It's the sheer consistency that has the rumor mill working overtime. According to those who claim to have seen the play-by-play, Meghan wasn't just a guest in these elite circles, she was the architect of her own social gravity. Critics and royal watchers are now obsessively dissecting the timeline, wondering if the same charm that captivated the locker rooms of pro hockey was the exact same blueprint used to navigate the corridors of Kensington Palace. It raises a haunting question: was Prince Harry the end game, or simply the most high-profile victory in a long-running game of social chess? Trevor Engelson's alleged perspective adds a layer of insider betrayal that is impossible to ignore. Imagine being the producer who helped build her career, only to watch from the sidelines as the woman you once knew reinvented herself for a global audience. The whispers suggest that Trevor's archives aren't just filled with memories, but with evidence of a woman who knew how to leave people behind once they'd served their purpose. The hockey team era is being framed as the ultimate training ground, a place where alliances were formed and discarded with a clinical precision that would eventually terrify the British establishment. In the world of professional sports, there is a code of silence, but codes are made to be broken when the stakes get this high. Sources claim that at least 5 players were part of this secret inner circle, creating a team within a team. The drama isn't just about the intimacy, it's about the audacity to navigate multiple personalities within the same high-pressure environment without the story leaking for years requires a level of tactical genius that goes far beyond acting. It's the kind of strategic maneuvering that makes the Queen's royal protocols look like child's play. As these rumors gain traction, the Sussex PR machine is reportedly in overdrive. The narrative being pushed from the California mansion is one of healing and living authentically, but the ghost of the 5 hockey players presents a direct threat to that brand. It's a battle between the St. Meghan image and the Hollywood player reality. If these players, men who are now retired or coaching, decide to break their NDA letters or share their side of the Los Angeles it's the carefully constructed victim narrative could crumble faster than a house of cards in a London fog. Behind the heavy gates of Windsor, the royal family is said to be watching this unravel with a mixture of dread and "I told you so" energy. The King and the Prince of Wales have always valued discretion above all else, and this level of Hollywood messiness is their ultimate nightmare. Every time a new detail from Trevor's alleged spill hits the headlines, it validates the fears of the courtiers who warned that a Hollywood starlet would bring a level of scandal the monarchy wasn't prepared to handle. Interestingly, the players themselves remain the wild cards. They hold the keys to the kingdom, or at least the keys to Meghan's past. Are they staying quiet out of respect? Or are their legal muzzles keeping the lid on the most scandalous crossover in sports and royal history? The tension is palpable, as if the entire world is waiting for one person to trip, one person to talk, or one photo to surface that proves the Duchess of Sussex was once the queen of the rink. As 2026 unfolds, the palm trees of Montecito are no longer providing the sanctuary they once promised. Rumors are swirling that the hockey team dossier has become a silent weapon in the ongoing Cold War between California and London. Inside their gated estate, the dynamic between Harry and Meghan is reportedly under extreme strain. While Meghan is seen powering through disappointments, appearing solo on red carpets and gala events, Harry is said to be lost in the schmoozing of Tinseltown, increasingly acting as the spare even within his own marriage. The drama reached a fever pitch following reports that King Charles himself made a swift, behind-the-scenes move after old narratives from Meghan's time in Canada resurfaced. These aren't just whispers. They are shockwaves. Commentators suggest the palace has shifted its strategy from silent endurance to firm boundaries, signaling that they will no longer ignore the ghosts of Hollywood's past. As Trevor Engelson's alleged insights gain traction, the King's ruin narrative is gaining momentum, with royal media questioning if the monarchy is finally preparing to strip the last remaining ties to the Sussex brand. In the corridors of Windsor, It's Princess and who is reportedly leading the charge. Known for her no-nonsense attitude, the Princess Royal is rumored to have exposed what courtiers call a long-term strategic plan, one that looks beyond the marriage and toward a potential politically empire or a strategic exit. The inclusion of the hockey player's stories into this narrative isn't just about scandal. It's being used to illustrate a lifelong pattern of calculated ambition that the royals supposedly recognized long before the rest of the world. Perhaps most damaging of all is the reaction from the industry Meghan once fought so hard to conquer. In early 2026, major blows to her Hollywood projects, including the reported cancellation of her lifestyle series, have experts claiming that viewers, not the studios, pulled the plug. The public seems to have grievance fatigue. When stories like the hockey Team 5 resurface, they no longer feel like spicy gossip. They are being framed as part of a heavy, negative history that the modern audience is beginning to reject. Yet, in a classic Hollywood twist, Meghan was recently spotted at a high-profile film festival wearing a friendship bracelet, a move many are calling a desperate olive branch to the royal family. Is it a genuine desire to reconcile, or is it a tactical retreat now that the secrets of the past are becoming too loud to drown out, as removal vans are spotted at other royal properties and titles are being weighed by Parliament? The Duchess finds herself at a crossroads where her past and future are in a violent collision. In early 2026, the strategy shifted from high-fashion lifestyle to wholesome Americana. Meghan made a high-profile appearance at the Sundance Film Festival to premiere Cookie Queens, an Arkwell-produced documentary about Girl Scout cookie season. But the buzz wasn't just about the film. On her wrist, eagle-eyed observers spotted a neon green and white beaded friendship bracelet in the coded language of the House of Windsor, where King Charles and Princess Charlotte have recently popularized the same trend. This was immediately branded as a tactical olive branch. Was it a genuine reach for peace, or a desperate attempt to realign her brand with the monarchy as her Netflix lifestyle series? With Love, Meghan reportedly faces cancellation after failing to crack the top 1,000 shows. While Meghan's lifestyle brand as ever continues to drop newsletters and teasers, Hollywood insiders are whispering about grievance fatigue. Expert critics are pointing to a zero breakthrough year, claiming that without the fresh grievances against the palace to weaponize, the Sussex ventures are struggling to stand on their own merits. The cancellation of her show is being framed not as a business decision, but as a public rejection of the highly curated, inauthentic image she's projected from her California rental mansions. As the Netflix deal is downgraded to a mere first-look agreement, the Duchess is allegedly returning to her roots, hiring her PR team from the Suits era to manage what many call her second shot at Hollywood, while Meghan plays the gentler pace card in her newsletters. King Charles is reportedly moving with a swift, immovable restraint. Reports from February 2026 suggest the king has activated quiet crisis protocols following Renew. The claims from an ex-partner rumored to be tied to her secretive time in Canada. The palace's reaction has been described as a ruinous silence, rather than engaging in a public spat. The king is reportedly allowing the inconsistencies in Meghan's curated biography to speak for themselves. The message from London is clear. The monarchy will no longer shield secrets that predate her entry into royal life. Inside the Sussex camp, the strain is becoming visible. While Meghan is executive producing and making cameos in films like close personal friends, Prince Harry is increasingly described as being caught in the emotional fault line. He is reportedly torn between the calculated moves of his wife's Hollywood comeback and a growing desire to return to the security of his UK roots. As the king invites world leaders to state visits, pointedly ignoring the Sussex's own pseudo-royal tours, the isolation of the Montecito mansion has never felt more profound. The ultimate drama, however, lies in the halls of Parliament, with public calls to strip the couple of their titles reaching a fever pitch in early 2026. The hockey team rumors and the Canada secrets have provided fresh ammunition for those who want the sus. X is removed from the royal ledger once and for all. The story has evolved from a simple celebrity gossip piece into an institutional threat, where every bead on a friendship bracelet and every leaked comment from an ex-husband is a move in a haystack. Is game for the future of the crown. In early 2026, the strategy shifted from high-fashion lifestyle to wholesome Americana. Meghan made a high-profile appearance at the Sundance Film Festival to premiere Cookie Queens, an Arkwell-produced documentary about the high-stakes world of Girl Scout cookie sales. But the buzz wasn't just about the film. On her wrist, eagle-eyed, observers spotted a beaded friendship bracelet, a trend popularized by King Charles and Princess Charlotte in the coded language of the House of Windsor. This was immediately branded as a tactical olive branch. Was it a genuine reach for peace or a desperate attempt to realign her brand with the monarchy? As her Netflix lifestyle series, With Love, Meghan reportedly faces a disappointing reception, while Meghan's lifestyle brand as ever continues to drop newsletters and teasers. Hollywood insiders are whispering about grievance fatigue. Expert critics are pointing to a zero breakthrough year, claiming that without the fresh grievances against the palace to weaponize, the Sussex ventures are struggling to stand on their own merits. The cancellation of her show is being framed not as a business decision, but as a public rejection of the highly curated image she's projected from her California life. As the Netflix deal evolves into a first-look agreement, the Duchess is allegedly returning to her roots, hiring a PR team to manage what many call her last shot at Hollywood. While Meghan plays the gentler pace card, King Charles is reportedly moving with firm, immovable restraint. Reports from February 2026 suggest the king has extended a final olive branch by offering them a stay at Highgrove House, yet simultaneously hosting a Nigerian state visit, pointedly asserting his role as the official head of the Commonwealth. Just after Meghan's My Country comment during her 2024 tour, the palace's reaction to recent rumors has been a ruinous silence, rather than engaging in a public spat. The king is reportedly allowing the inconsistencies in Meghan's curated biography to speak for themselves. Inside the Sussex camp, the strain is becoming visible. As of February 2026, sources claim the couple is facing the most serious marital dispute of their relationship, the issue of fundamental disagreement about the future. Prince Harry, now 41, is reportedly fixated on returning to the UK to be near his ailing father and the Princess of Wales, viewing 2026 as the last window for reconciliation. Meghan, however, remains immovable, viewing the UK as a trigger for her most painful memories, while Meghan attends Sundance to promote her modernized girlhood vision. Harry is described as restless and rootless, increasingly looking back at the life he left behind. The ultimate wild card in this high-stakes game isn't a royal, but a former confidant. Reports have surfaced that Jessica Mulroney, Meghan's wartime best friend from her days in Canada, has been offered a $1 million tell-all book deal. Insiders say the loyalty is gone, and the potential for uncomfortable personal info regarding Meghan's time in Toronto is the ticking time bomb the Sussexes fear most. If the Canada files are opened, the carefully constructed narrative of the self-made Duchess could face its most brutal reality check yet. Just as the British Parliament weighs the future of their royal titles. In early 2026, the strategy shifted from high-fashion lifestyle to wholesome Americana. Meghan made a high-profile appearance at the Sundance Film Festival to premiere Cookie Queens, an Arkwell-produced documentary about the high-stakes world of Girl Scout cookie sales. But the buzz wasn't just about the film. On her wrist, eagle-eyed, observers spotted a beaded friendship bracelet, a trend popularized by King Charles and Princess Charlotte in the coded language of the House of Windsor. This was immediately branded as a tactical olive branch. Was it a genuine reach for peace, or a desperate attempt to realign her brand with the monarchy as her Netflix lifestyle series, With Love, Meghan, reportedly faces a disappointing reception? While Meghan's lifestyle brand as ever continues to drop newsletters and teasers, Hollywood insiders are whispering about grievance fatigue. Expert critics are pointing to a zero breakthrough year, claiming that without the fresh grievances against the palace to weaponize, the Sussex ventures are struggling to stand on their own merits. The cancellation of her show is being framed not as a business decision, but as a public rejection of the highly curated image she's projected from her California life. As the Netflix deal evolves into a first-look agreement, the Duchess is allegedly returning to her roots, hiring a PR team to manage what many call her last shot at Hollywood. While Meghan plays the gentler pace card, King Charles is reportedly moving with firm, immovable restraint. Reports from February 2026 suggest the king has extended a final olive branch by offering them a stay at Highgrove House, yet simultaneously hosting a Nigerian state visit, pointedly asserting his role as the official head of the Commonwealth. Just after Meghan's My Country comment during her 2024 tour, the palace's reaction to recent rumors has been a ruinous silence, rather than engaging in a public spat. The king is reportedly allowing the inconsistencies in Meghan's curated biography to speak for themselves. Inside the Sussex camp, the strain is becoming visible. As of February 2026, sources claim the couple is facing the most serious marital dispute of their relationship, the issue of fundamental disagreement about the future. Prince Harry, now 41, is reportedly fixated on returning to the UK to be near his ailing father and the Princess of Wales, viewing 2026 as the last window for reconciliation. Meghan, however, remains immovable, viewing the UK as a trigger for her most painful memories, while Meghan attends Sundance to promote her modernized girlhood vision. Harry is described as restless and rootless, increasingly looking back at the life he left behind. The ultimate wild card in this high-stakes game isn't a royal, but a former confidant. Reports have surfaced that Jessica Mulroney, Meghan's wartime best friend from her days in Canada, has been offered a $1 million tell-all book deal. Insiders say the loyalty is gone, and the potential for uncomfortable personal info regarding Meghan's time in Toronto is the ticking time bomb the Sussexes fear most. If the Canada files are opened, The carefully constructed narrative of the self-made Duchess could face its most brutal reality check yet. Just as the British Parliament weighs the future of their royal titles, the atmosphere in Montecito has reportedly turned from sunny to somber as news broke of a deeply uncomfortable seven-figure memoir deal. Jessica Mulroney, the woman who was once Meghan's inner sanctum confidant, has allegedly been courted by major publishers with an offer worth up to $1 million for years. Jessica was the gatekeeper of Meghan's Toronto life, the suits, years, the secret early dates with Harry, and the strategic social climb that followed. Insiders claim the Duchess quietly dreads this scenario because, unlike the royal courtiers bound by protocol, Jessica knows where the bodies are buried, and after being coldly cut off in 2020, reportedly feels she has absolutely nothing left to lose. The potential memoir, whispered to be a roadmap of ambition, is set to focus heavily on the pre-royal era in Canada. This is the period critics call the training ground, where the hockey team rumors and high-stakes networking first took root. Publishing insiders suggest the book wouldn't be vague. It would offer lethal specificity regarding the social strategies Meghan allegedly used to navigate the Toronto elite. With Jessica's marriage to Ben Mulroney, son of a former prime minister, recently ending, the stylist is said to be biding her time, weighing whether to break her silence and provide the world with the real story royal watchers have been demanding. While the threat of a tell-all looms, King Charles has made a move that has stunned the Sussex camp: a formal offer to stay at Highgrove House, his most cherished private retreat. On the surface, it's a grand olive branch for their expected UK visit in July for the Invictus Games countdown. However, royal analysts see a double-edged sword. Staying at Highgrove, a fortress of security, would solve Harry's safety concerns, but it would also place the couple back under the direct surveillance of the Crown. It's a high-stakes invitation that forces Meghan to choose between the safety of a royal estate and the autonomy of her independent life. The timing of these personal and professional hits couldn't be worse for the Sussex brand. Following the dramatic move to strip Prince Andrew of his prince title and force him from his home in late 2025, a legal precedent has been set. Reports suggest Prince William is done and is quietly preparing his own letters patent strategy for when he ascends the throne. The message being whispered through the palace corridors is that titles reflect service, not status. Harry is said to be blindsided by how easily the king can now remove what was once thought untouchable, leaving the couple's Duke and Duchess titles hanging by a legislative thread. Amidst this turbulence, Meghan made a solo appearance at the 2026 15% Pledge Gala in Los Angeles, channeling old Hollywood glamour in a strapless Harbison studio gown, while the fashion world praised her message of intention. Body language experts noted a hardened resolve. With her Netflix series With Love, Meghan reportedly struggling and her lifestyle brand as ever facing a doom loop of criticism. The solo appearance is being viewed as a trial run for a post-Harry professional identity, as the Canada Files threaten to open and the King's Highgrove trap waits. The Duchess is increasingly leaning on the one thing she knows best: the power of the singular, curated image. As February 2026 unfolds, the Sussexes' attempt to rebrand as relatable has hit a bizarre new roadblock. A recent home video intended to promote Meghan's As Ever lifestyle collection showed the Duchess walking into Harry's office to hand him a chocolate bar while he sat barefoot at his desk. Rather than sparking lifestyle envy, the clip has been relentlessly mocked online, with a parody version going viral for being cringeworthy and performative. Critics are calling it a symptom of a deeper struggle. The couple is reportedly finding that the Netflix magic has faded, leaving them to navigate a Hollywood landscape that is increasingly skeptical of their at-home narratives. While the Sussexes battle the relatability wars, royal biographer Angela Levin has reignited a fierce debate by claiming Meghan's true endgame remains unchanged. According to Levin, the Duchess still harbors a desire for a status that rivals the Queen herself, a claim that sounds far-fetched given the line of succession, but one that resonates with those who view her current UK strategy as a bid for influence rather than reconciliation. This power play narrative is being used by critics to frame every move, from the Cookie Queen's documentary to the choice of jewelry, as part of a long-term shadow court being built in California. The real test of the Sussexes' 2026 strategy lies in July. Prince Harry is reportedly focused on the one-year countdown event for the next Invictus Games, set to be held in the UK. This visit is being described as the ultimate ultimatum. Harry has been vocal about his refusal to bring Meghan and the children, Archie and Lilibet, back to British soil without guaranteed taxpayer-funded police protection. However, the Royal and VIP Executive Committee ROVIC is still re-evaluating his threat level. Without a breakthrough in the security standoff, 2026 could be the year Harry returns to his homeland entirely alone, further deepening the physical and emotional divide in his marriage. Adding to the tension is King Charles' rumored invitation for the couple to stay at Highgrove House during their summer visit. While the media paints this as a grand olive branch, sources close to the Sussexes suggest Meghan is deeply resistant. Highgrove isn't just a secure estate. It is a place steeped in the memories of the very institution she fled. For Meghan, accepting the king's hospitality feels like stepping back into the cage, while for Harry, it's a chance to finally introduce his children to their grandfather in a setting that feels like home. The disagreement over whether to stay at Highgrove or a commercial hotel has reportedly become a major point of conflict in their Montecito mansion. Perhaps the most dangerous threat to Meghan's 2026 comeback isn't the king or the press, but the quiet ticking of the clock in Canada. As rumors of Jessica Mulroney's $1 million memoir persist, the Suits era is being scrutinized like never before. Insiders claim that several of Meghan's former associates from the Toronto years are no longer bound by the loyalty of silence. Whether it's details of the hockey team's social circle or the true nature of her transition from actress to duchess, the potential for a truth bomb from her former inner sanctum is the one variable the Sussex PR machine cannot control. As the countdown to the July 2026 Invictus Games event begins, King Charles has reportedly made his move a formal invitation for Harry and Meghan to stay at Highgrove House, his most cherished private residence. On the surface, it's the ultimate olive branch to bring his son back into the fold. However, the offer is dripping with complexity. Highgrove is now technically owned by Prince William via the Duchy of Cornwall, meaning the king is offering a home that belongs to the very brother Harry hasn't spoken to since 2022. For Meghan, the invitation is seen by some as a golden cage, a place where she would be safely tucked away from the press, but also entirely under the surveillance and protocol of the institution she worked so hard to leave behind. While the public focus is on the king, a far more secretive narrative is emerging from the shadows. Rumors have reached a fever pitch regarding a clandestine meeting between the Princess of Wales and Prince Harry during a recent holiday getaway to Mystique. Insiders claim that Kate, acting as the family's silent peacemaker, orchestrated a lunch to see the homesick prince away from the cameras and the influence of the Montecito PR machine. The fallout from this alleged meeting has reportedly left Prince William furious, as he remains steadfast in his refusal to engage with a brother he no longer trusts. The question remains, is Kate building a secret bridge, or is she simply trying to understand the depth of the rift before the 2026 summer storm hits? In the quiet halls of the palace, a more permanent solution to the Sussex problem is being drafted. Following the precedent set by the removal of Prince Andrew's remaining royal ties, reports suggest Prince William is privately advocating for a letters patent strategy. This would be a legislative strike designed to officially strip the Prince and Princess titles from Archie and Lilibet, or even remove the Duke and Duchess of Sussex titles entirely. As of February 2026, the King is said to be resisting such a final blow. But with Parliament facing increasing public pressure, the survival of the Sussex brand may depend on the very family they have spent years critiquing. The most immediate threat to Meghan's 2026 comeback, however, isn't coming from London, but from her former life in Toronto. Jessica Mulroney, once the architect of Meghan's social rise, has reportedly been aggressively courted by publishers for a memoir that would detail the suit's years with lethal specificity. Unlike the royals, Jessica is not bound by a never complain, never explain mantra. Sources claim the $1 million offer is on the table, and with Jessica's own social standing in flux. The loyalty that once guarded the secrets of the hockey team era and the early Harry days is reportedly at an all-time low. If Jessica decides to reclaim her power, the carefully curated history of the Duchess could be rewritten in a single weekend. Everything is converging on the July visit. Harry's ongoing legal battle over taxpayer-funded security has reached a critical stage, with a bespoke case-by-case arrangement being the only thing standing between a family visit and a solo trip. If the security isn't granted, Harry will likely return to London alone, leaving Meghan in Montecito to focus on her old Hollywood rebrand. As removal vans are spotted at other royal properties and the public's grievance fatigue sets in, 2026 is no longer about their truth. It's about whether the Sussexes have any allies left in the war. What they used to call home, well, the world's eyes were on the freezing winter of London. A far warmer and more secretive drama was unfolding in the Caribbean. In February 2026, reports surfaced of a clandestine meeting on the private island of Mystique. The architect of the encounter, Princess Catherine, sources claim that during a family holiday, the princess reached out to Harry, inviting him for a hurried lunch away from the prying eyes of the global press. It was a high-stakes play by the family's ultimate peacemaker, Harry, who was reportedly in Canada for an Invictus countdown, allegedly made a last-minute detour to meet his sister-in-law. Insiders say the atmosphere was heavy with nostalgia, with Catherine becoming visibly tearful as she realized the depth of the divide. But the Mystique olive branch wasn't without its thorns. Prince William was reportedly frosty the entire time, refusing to engage in the deep reconciliation Catherine had hoped for, while Harry loosened up playing with George, Charlotte, and Louis. A rare reunion with the uncle they haven't seen in years. William remained guarded and subdued. The meeting ended not with a hug, but with a stark realization: the trust is still shattered. As Harry flew back to the U.S., Catherine reportedly told William that enough is enough, urging him to find a path toward forgiveness. But the future of the brothers remains as uncertain as the Caribbean tides. Back in California, Meghan's attempt to seize the Valentine's Day market with her newly rebranded as Everline has hit a humiliating snag. A promotional post for a sweetheart bundle of chocolates and spreads was met with immediate online mockery. Social media users and branding experts alike slammed the imagery as worse than amateurish, pointing out glaring design flaws, asymmetrical product placement, and off-center text. The backlash was so intense that some fans urged the Duchess to hire a graphic designer immediately. It's a major blow for a brand that is supposed to represent perfection and thoughtful living, suggesting that the polish of the suits era may be losing its luster in the face of DIY entrepreneurship. Meghan, never one to let a critique go, unanswered, reportedly responded with a cryptic mood board post on Instagram. Amidst the design failure and plagiarism accusations, with a Spanish mayor claiming that his Ever logo looks suspiciously Lee. The local town's coat of arms, Meghan shared a quote that read, "You cannot make everybody happy. You're not a jar of Nutella." While intended as a witty dismissal of her critics, the post has been labeled cringeworthy by royal commentators, who see it as a sign of a duchess who is increasingly out of touch with how her brand is being perceived on the global stage. The most chilling development for the Sussexes, however, isn't a design flaw, it's a ghost from the past. Jessica Mulroney, the woman who once stood in the inner sanctum of Meghan's life, is reportedly being aggressively courted for a tell-all memoir worth up to $1 million. The friendship that began in Toronto and survived the royal wedding is now described as dead, with insiders saying the loyalty went with it. As a soon-to-be ex-wife with nothing left to lose, Jessica is the one person who can provide the lethal specificity regarding Meghan's social rise. The Canada files are no longer just a rumor. They are a looming financial and reputational threat that could rewrite the Duchess's history before the summer even begins. As the design scandals and parody videos dominate the social media landscape in February 2026, Meghan's team has reportedly pivoted to a familiar defense. In private briefings, insiders suggest that the relentless mocking of the barefoot video and the Ever logo is not a critique of quality, but a symptom of unconscious bias within the British and American media. This narrative, however, is struggling to gain traction. Unlike the early days of their departure, where such claims ignited global conversation, the 2026 audience appears to have empathy fatigue. Market analysts note that when a brand fails to center its text or uses imagery that mirrors a 14th century Spanish coat of arms, the public views it as a competency issue, not a cultural one. The logo dispute in the small Majorcan town of Porreres has taken a surprisingly formal turn. While the town's mayor, Ziska Mora, originally admitted the municipality couldn't afford a legal battle against the English crown, a local collective of historians and legal students has reportedly stepped in. They are crowdfunding a symbolic injunction in a Spanish court to protect their 650-year-old heritage. The irony isn't lost on the public. The Duchess, who has spent years fighting for her own narrative and intellectual property, is now being accused of the ultimate intellectual property perversion by a village that simply wants its palm tree back. The fallout from the secret Mystique meeting continues to ripple through the royal family. New details suggest that Prince Harry left the Caribbean more conflicted than ever, While the Princess of Wales' tears reportedly made him realize the hollowness of his California isolation. The cold reception from Prince William served as a brutal reminder of the consequences of his memoir, Spare. Harry is said to be haunted by the image of his brother, the man who once shared his every secret, now treating him like a diplomatic sec. Yurdi risk rather than a sibling. This emotional fracture is reportedly causing tectonic shifts in the Montecito household, as Harry begins to question if the price of Meghan's Hollywood comeback is a permanent loss of his birthright. While the brothers remain at a stalemate, Princess Anne has reportedly initiated what courtiers call a meticulous review of the Sussexes' remaining royal ties. This isn't a loud, public investigation. It's a quiet, systematic check of financial trails and previous agreements. Anne, known as the hardest working royal, is said to be the one ensuring that every legal I is dotted and T is crossed, should the king decide to pull the trigger on a letter's patent title removal. The message from the palace is one of quiet verification. While the Sussexes provide the noise, the Princess Royal is providing the receipts as the July Invictus countdown looms. All eyes remain on Toronto. Jessica Mulroney has maintained a strategic silence since reports of her $1 million book deal surfaced, but her estranged husband, Ben Mulroney, recently dropped a cryptic update, saying they are on positive terms with their past. This careful deflection is being interpreted by many as the calm before the storm. A publishing insider has hinted that the memoir's first draft contains explosive details about a 2016 strategy meeting held in Toronto, where the plan to transition from actress to international icon was reportedly first mapped out. If these Canada files are released, they won't just be gossip. They will be the blueprint that potentially deconstructs the last decade of the Duchess's life. The glitz of the Sundance Film Festival in late January 2026 was supposed to be the launchpad for Meghan's new era of wholesome content, but as the lights dimmed for the premiere of Cookie Queens, a documentary about Girl Scout cookie season, the reality was stark. Reports from the Eccles Center Theatre indicated that nearly 150 seats remained empty at the start of the screening, a staggering number for a festival where tickets usually vanish in seconds. Adding to the awkwardness, Meghan took the stage to deliver a speech before the film, a move typically reserved for directors. Critics were quick to pounce, with one Sky News commentator labeling her red carpet interviews as disastrous after she reported Lai struggled to name her or Harry's favorite cookie flavor, despite executive producing a film on the subject. While Sundance left a cold trail, the heat in Mallorca is reaching a boiling point. The small town of Porreres has officially called for the Duchess to withdraw her as ever logo, claiming it is an exact copy of their 650-year-old coat of arms. Mayoress Ziska Mora didn't mince words, expressing disbelief that a global brand would lift a historic heraldic emblem so blatantly. While the town originally claimed they couldn't afford a legal fight against the English crown, local pride has shifted. Activists are now pointing to EU intellectual property regulations that protect symbols of special public interest. The irony is palpable. The woman who fought for her right to privacy and narrative is now accused of cultural appropriation by a village that simply wants to keep its palm tree and birds. The blow to her branding didn't stop in Spain. Industry insiders have confirmed that Meghan's highly anticipated Netflix lifestyle series, With Love, Meghan, has been canceled after just 2 seasons, despite a second season renewal in 2025. The show failed to find its footing, reportedly falling out of the global top 1,000 shows shortly after release. This brand slide is being attributed to a growing grievance fatigue among viewers. Without the explosive royal revelations of the past, the highly curated, aesthetic-heavy content is struggling to compete in a saturated market. The cancellation has sent shockwaves through Arkwell, with reports of key staff departures as the couple tries to pivot toward family matinee content like Cookie Queens. While the business side of the Sussex brand falters, the personal side remains a battlefield. New details have emerged from the secret February 2026 meeting in Mystique between Prince Harry and the Princess of Wales. Catherine reportedly orchestrated the lunch in a desperate attempt to bridge the gap before the 2026 summer storm. However, the mission seems to have failed. While Harry loosened up playing with his niece and nephews George, Charlotte, and Louis, Prince William remained incredibly guarded. Sources say the Princess of Wales was tearful as Harry left, telling William that enough is enough regarding the feud. But with William still furious over the accusations in Spare, the Mystique meeting may go down as the last time the Fab Four ever attempted to breathe the same air. Hovering over all of this is the ticking time bomb in Toronto. Jessica Mulroney, Meghan's former inner sanctum best friend, is reportedly closer than ever to signing a $1 million tell-all book deal after years of being coldly cut off. Insiders say Jessica feels she has absolutely nothing left to lose. Unlike previous royal gossip, Jessica's account is expected to be lethal in its specificity, covering the soothsayers, the social strategy of the Toronto era, and the early days of dating Harry. With the loyalty dead, the Duchess is said to be quietly dreading the release of the Canada Files, a narrative that could deconstruct the self-made image she has projected to the world just as her titles face a legislative review. In London, the glitz of the 2026 Sundance Film Festival was supposed to be the launchpad for Meghan's new era of wholesome content. But as the lights dimmed for the premiere of Cookie Queens, a documentary produced by Arkwell about the high-stakes world of Girl Scout cookie sales, the reality was stark. Reports from the Eccles Theatre indicated that nearly 150 seats remained empty at the start of the screening, a staggering number for a festival where tickets usually vanish in seconds. While the number eventually tightened to about 60 as waitlisters were let in, the VVIP balcony remained noticeably sparse, in an uncommon move for an executive producer at Sundance. Meghan took the stage to deliver a pre-film speech, thanking the audience for being there bright and early. But critics were quick to note that the usual Hollywood power players were nowhere to be found. While Sundance left a cold trail, the heat in Mallorca is reaching a boiling point. The small town of Porreres has officially accused the Duchess of plagiarizing their 650-year-old coat of arms for her as ever brand logo. Francisca Moraveni, the town's mayoress, pointed out that the logo featuring a palm tree flanked by two birds is nearly identical to the historic emblem that has belonged exclusively to the municipality. Since the 14th century, we don't want our coat of arms to be perverted, she stated, noting that the only difference is the type of birds used. While the town originally claimed it couldn't afford a legal battle against the English crown, they have now formally asked Meghan to remove the logo from her website and products, citing special public interest protections within the EU. The blow to her branding didn't stop in Spain. Industry insiders have confirmed that Meghan's Netflix lifestyle series, With Love, Meghan, will not return for a third season. despite a run of 2 seasons and a festive holiday special in late 2025. The show reportedly failed to secure the viewership numbers Netflix required for a renewal. Royal expert Richard Fitzwilliams brutally labeled the content as cringy, smiley rubbish, and forgettable, while the show resonated with a core group of supporters. The wider audience seems to have developed grievance fatigue. Meghan is now reportedly pivoting to bite-sized social media content to promote her brand, as the behemoth of Netflix begins to distance itself from her primary lifestyle projects. The fallout from the secret February 2026 meeting in Mystique continues to ripple through the royal family. While the Princess of Wales orchestrated the lunch in a desperate attempt to bridge the gap during the children's half-term break, the mission appears to have backfired. Harry reportedly flew in from Canada at the last minute, and while he loosened up playing with George, Charlotte, and Louis, Prince William remained frosty and guarded. Sources claim Catherine was tearful as the visit ended, realizing the brothers are still living totally separate lives. Upon his return to the U.S., Harry was reportedly knocked back by William's cold response, leaving him more isolated than ever as he navigates the high-pressure demands of Meghan's Hollywood comeback. Hovering over all of this is the ticking time bomb in Toronto. Jessica Mulroney, Meghan's former inner sanctum best friend, is reportedly being aggressively courted for a $1 million tell-all book deal. After years of being coldly cut off following the 2020 Sasha Exeter controversy, insiders say Jessica feels she has absolutely nothing left to lose. Unlike previous royal gossip, Jessica's account is expected to offer lethal specificity regarding the suits years, the early days of dating Harry, and the strategic social climb that followed. With the loyalty dead, the Duchess is said to be quietly dreading the potential release of the Canada Files, a narrative that could deconstruct her carefully curated public image just as her royal titles face a legislative review in London. The glitz of the 2026 Sundance Film Festival was supposed to be Meghan's triumphant return to the cinematic stage. But as the lights dimmed for the premiere of Cookie Queen's an Arkwell-produced documentary about the high-stakes world of Girl Scout cookies sales, the optics were far from royal. Reports emerged that over 150 seats remained empty at the start of the screening in the Eccles Theatre, while about 90 of those were eventually filled by waitlisters. The VIP sections remained noticeably sparse. Critics were quick to point out the irony. While Hollywood heavyweights like Olivia Wilde were selling at auditoriums, the Sussex sparkle seemed to have flickered. Adding to the tension, rumors swirled that Arkwell's name was added to the credits just 24 hours before the premiere, leading to accusations that Meghan had glommed onto a pre-existing project to salvage her Sundance debut back in California. The launch of Meghan's As Ever Valentine's collection has been anything but sweet. Faced with a design disaster where her logo was accused of mirroring a 65th century Spanish coat of arms and a tone-deaf $185 price tag for the Valentine's Edit bundle, the Duchess reportedly fired back with a touch of Hollywood wit. Sources claim she shared a cryptic mood board on Instagram featuring the quote, "You cannot make everybody happy. You're not a jar of Nutella," while intended as a light-hearted dismissal of her critics. The Nutella clapback was branded as cringeworthy by royal commentators. To make matters worse, reports surfaced that unsold products from the launch were being given away for free to Netflix employees just to clear out storage rooms at the streaming giant's headquarters. The branding woes took a professional turn, as industry insiders confirmed that Netflix has officially pulled the plug on With Love, Meghan. After 2 seasons and a holiday special that failed to crack the global top 1,000 shows, the lifestyle series will not be returning for a third year. This brand slide is being attributed to what experts call grievance fatigue. Without fresh, royal drama to fuel the narrative, the aesthetic-heavy content simply couldn't find an audience, with the Netflix deal reportedly downgraded to a first-look agreement. Meghan is said to be returning to her roots, hiring her publicist from the Suits era to manage what many call her last chance to stay relevant in a skeptical Tinseltown.